Many of the functions we use in math are given by an explicit rule. So for example, let's say we have a function from the real numbers to the real numbers defined by f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 1. So what does this mean? This means that the input is a real number, the output is a real number, and the rule is essentially square the input, subtract 3 times the input, and then add 1. So for example, f of 2 will be you square the input, you subtract 3 times the input, and then you add 1. And so this will be 4 minus 6 plus 1, which will be equal to minus 1, right? So this will be equal to minus 1. So f of 2 is equal to minus 1. And you can compute for any real number. Okay. You can also define functions using cases. So let's say we have a function here from the integers into the integers defined by g of x, or g, let's say g of n, because it's an integer, just to, I mean, you could put g of x, there's no issues with that, but sometimes it's nice to differentiate. So g of n, it's gonna be n over 2 if n is even. So here, let's do capital N. And it'll be 3n plus 1 if n is odd. So here the input has to be an integer, of course, and then the output also has to be an integer, so you need to be careful about this. Also, you need to be careful that every input has a unique output. And so what this is doing is it's saying that if the input is even, we divide it by 2, and if the output is odd, we multiply by 3 and add 1. And so this shouldn't be an issue because every input is going to be either even or odd and not both. So there's only going to be one output for every input. And the output, of course, 3 times n plus 1 is always going to be an integer, so that's not an issue. But dividing by 2 might not be. If you take the integer 3 and you divide it by 2, that's not an integer, so that would be a problem. But here, every even number, you can divide it by 2 and you'll get an integer, so there are no issues. So here, for example, if you do g of 8, since 8 is even, this will be 8 over 2 equal to 4. So g of 8 is equal to 4. And if you do something like g of 5, then since 5 is odd, you do 3 times 5 plus 1. And this gives you 15 plus 1 is 16. So g of 5 is 16, right? Now notice again that the two cases cover all the integers and they do not conflict. So every integer is either even or odd, but not both. So every input has exactly one output. And so that is the key point. A formula defines a function only when it gives one clear output for every input in the domain.